the cock knocker himself with 1. So that means we are going into the main event question, winner take all. And what better question than what is the best View Askew movie? So now we are going to go with the best View Askew movie, and we are going to back at the top with Tato. All right, 60 seconds opening when you begin.
Alrighty, I will start this one off. The best View Askew movie is Clerks. It is the first View Askew movie. It tells the tale of a couple of clerks, as it were. Dante and Randall, they're best friends. For whatever reason, they also have a bit of a love-hate relationship from time to time. But it is the funniest. It is the baseline of the View Askew. It is where View Askew started. It is the funniest. It is the pure funniest of the films, like just on its own merits. With like every other film does not stand without Clerks. And you can say that a lot with. Yeah, you can say it a lot about like any given franchise. Like we wouldn't have Endgame without Iron Man, but really in this universe, especially, we don't even get to Mallrats without Clerks. We don't have any of this without Clerks. Clerks is the best movie in the View Askew universe. Time.
All right. Now we're going to go over to JPO. 6 seconds when you've been speaking.
Hi. I went with Dogma. Remember the one with Loki? You guys want to know? So yes, I went with Dogma here. Again, when I look for the best here, I want the most engaging story here, the most one that has entrances you the most, and is also, I think, one of the funniest here because he knows when to go funny, he knows when to go serious here, contemplating, and I think Dogma hits on pretty much every level that you could ask for in a movie here. The right amount of Jay and Silent Bob when they finally come across him on the road trip to, of course, Rip. Alan Rickman, of course, is fantastic. Just the entire story, I think it's the best screenplay he's written here. I also think he's finally coming together as an actual director at this point here, it being his 4th film. I just think Dogma is the complete picture when you look at it. Thank you. I've been JPO.
All right. Will, 60 seconds when you begin.
So I chose Mallrats for one simple reason. It took everything that Kevin Smith learned from Clerks and shows what absolutely he can do when he is given more of a budget to have a little bit more free reign. You have T.S. and Brody, who essentially are Dante and Randall, but they're having a lot more fun. You're not confined to one space. You're allowing them to go to different stores. You're allowing them to go even outside of the mall. You're allowing them to have room to breathe. But then you also have a great relatable script that's both funny and poignant. You have just wonderful quotable moments. You have just great performances all around. This is exactly what Kevin Smith always wanted to do with a film, and it absolutely shows.
And time. Jay, 6 seconds when you begin.
60 or 30?
60.
The question is, what is the best View Askew universe movie? It's not what is the first. Honestly, without Clerks, we wouldn't have gotten any of the other movies that we have. I don't think that should be a point for anybody. But Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back is legitimately probably the first original thing that he's done outside of Chasing Amy, which nobody here has chosen. That allows an ensemble cast to sit here and have a great time, which allows great directors, great actors to sit here and have a phenomenal cast. And you want to talk about a fish out of water movie? Jay and Silent Bob is the perfect fish. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back is the perfect fish out of water movie. And I don't think you could have chosen anybody. I don't think anybody has ever done it better since Kevin Smith.
Okay. All right, and so now everyone had their opening. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the open format. 45 seconds for the main event. We did 45 seconds last time, and it worked out because we only did the 2 rounds. I just didn't tell you guys. But 45 seconds for the main event. All the marbles. Start with Tato.
Alrighty, 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Interesting. No, you're right. Will the TS and Brody are Dante and Randall, but they're worse. It's why Jeremy London hasn't come back. That TS is not an interesting character. Brody is a shysta, but it's fun to check in on him from time to time. He's funny. And you're also right in that we did see what Kevin Smith could do with a budget, and that is bomb horrifically at the box office. Mallrats, not a great example of a Kevin Smith entry. Judges, take this as you will. Genuinely, none of the movies that were picked outside of mine are in my top 3 at all. And that's just my genuine opinion as a Kevin Smith fan.
JPO.
Well, yours is also not in my top 3. Who cares about that, Tato? Clerks, it is his first film, and it sure as hell looks like a first film here. It is easily his most boring movie when it comes to shot-wise here. And that definitely, just because it's the first and sets the plate for everything else, sure as heck is not a reason to give it a vote, because a master chef's first dish doesn't make that his best dish. The chef got better, and this chef and Kevin Smith would get better as things went along here. As said, TS is a shitty character. He's kind of a bitch, and he's not an enjoyable lead character. Hence why that actor, Tato said it. TS is just not a good character, and even TS doesn't necessarily deserve an A either. It is easily his kind of lowest common denominator script here. It's fun, but I think there's a reason why people saw Clerks and then went into Mallrats and went, this is his follow-up? It just wasn't smart. It wasn't clever. It wasn't funny.
Time. And Will.
Mallrats actually, got a brand new audience onto Kevin Smith's side, which is something that Clerks did not do. Clerks was a very art house film, and it absolutely shows as an art house film. There's some really dirty dialogue, which kind of threw a lot of people off. And Clerks did not find its original audience. You want to talk about box office receipts? You know what film? You know what Kevin Smith film made box office receipts? Oh yeah, pretty much none of them if you really think about it. All of these films, perform mediocre at best, so that's not a hit on my film at all. TS is a bad character. You know who else is a bad character? Dante. He is a little bitch too. So if you're going to use that as a template, yeah, he's going to be a little bitch. But you have that dichotomy with the two characters, but it's still a more relatable script.
And time.
Great romantic comedy.
Jay, 45 seconds when you begin.
There's a reason why Jay and Silent Bob have more screen time when it comes to the earlier Kevin Smith works than Randall and Dante do. It's because everybody revolved around Jay and Silent Bob. This is the reason why Jay and Silent Bob had another movie before. Jay and Silent Bob had a movie before Clerks 2 existed, and Clerks 2 was only that thing where Kevin Smith was like, hey, I want to make this. Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back is by far probably the best movie because he has created an ensemble cast. He didn't have to fucking pressure them into even doing anything after having a heart attack. What this man did was pull together great directors, great actors, Ben Affleck, Gus Van Sant, everybody who comes through for this movie acts their fucking heart out where everybody else just tries hard.
All right, Tato, your final 45 seconds before the closer.
There we go. The View Askew universe is not based on great shots. It's not based on great actors. It's based on heart. And the true heart and soul of the View Askew universe comes through in Clerks. Dante is endearing in ways that TS isn't. TS is whiny over stupid high school bullshit, whereas Dante's life is actually in the shitter. So his complaints are more valid than TS's. Lost my notes. Yeah, so I'll just go on to talk about how great Clerks is. It's fantastic. It is hilarious. It is just the core, much like 37 is the core joke.
Time. JPO.
Jay tried saying that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a great original piece. Yeah, your two main characters are in their fifth movie here. He's also mentioned the ensemble. Guess where the ensemble originates, really? Dogma, because that's why half the cast returns for Strike Back, because that's how well it worked here. Dogma, I think, is the most thought-provoking, best dialogues in here, as well as also still truly being one of the best, even funniest movies here. Tato mentioned Heart with Clerks. It's Clerks 2 and 3 is when the heart really starts coming in and these moments of life and everything. Clerks is very much just let's go for the 37, let's go for the funny jokes here. Dogma is the first one that's really it's about where you are in life here and a real turn of what Bethany's going through. That's where I think he starts becoming thought-provoking in Heart, while these other three here are just going for the joke. Mine also goes for the jokes as well as thought-provoking.
And Will, 45 seconds when you begin.
So Mallrats actually goes for thought-provoking as well, when it tries to be a take on the modern romance, but without the religious aspect that actually pissed off a lot of conservative people and drove down the audience and caused it to go to a different studio, which is now the reason why we can't get this on Blu-ray. Thanks a lot, fucking Harvey Weinstein. With Clerks, you have the basis of what things can do, but then when you see it in Mallrats, it's actually has room to breathe. It has room to grow. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is an ensemble movie, but with no heart whatsoever into it.
And Jay, 45 seconds when you begin.
I think Jay and Silent Bob actually has the most heart out of any of these movies. Kevin Smith has stated that what he has done with Dogma is try to attack the Catholic Church because he just wanted to egg them on. Clerks is the thing that epitomizes everything it is that he wanted with it. But I think what it is that Jay and Silent Bob does is elevate what it is that he tried to do with Clerks, especially with characters who aren't Randall and Dante, but who still appear in it. Mallrats is the one movie that everybody for fucking gets about, with the exception of Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith loves to bring it up, but nobody else brings up this movie. Nobody else brings up everything in this movie. Everybody brings up quotes from Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
On time. All right, we are on the final closings. We are going to start with Tato. Just a reminder, the question is, what is the best movie in the View Askew universe? Use that however you want, but just a reminder, that's the question. Tato, up to 90 seconds when you begin.
All righty. Clerks is the best movie in the View Askew universe. The heart of the View Askew universe starts with Dante and Randall having that conversation on the ice cream freezer. It starts with their friendship, which is apparent from scene 1. Yes, there are a lot of jokes there because it's a comedy, but we don't get anywhere without the heart. Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back are just a little too overblown to be considered the best View Askew universe movie. They just have too many bells and whistles to where it kind of loses what made View Askew great, with particularly Clerks 2, Chase and Amy, stuff like that. Mallrats, again, critically unsuccessful, financially unsuccessful, and it is a knock because that one in particular made dramatically less money than was spent on it. All of his other films, I believe, are within budget at any rate. So while they may not be raking in a ton of box office dollars, they're making their money back. Whereas Mallrats failed to do that, failed to have critical success. Clerks is critically successful, amazingly financially successful. Obviously, the empire that man made out of that $27,000 movie is amazing. Financially, critically, everyone loves it. Clerks the best.
All right, JPO, your final 90 seconds, up to 90 seconds whenever you begin.
Clerks is a great first movie here. It's why we're here. It's why he's here. But that doesn't make it his best movie here. It's the worst shot. There's a reason he made it black and white, is to cover that up. It's also, I'm sorry, he's got amateur actors here, and it does show, especially upon repeats. Mallrats, I think, has just the most benign script here. I'm sorry, there's a reason why there is a fan base that likes it because they cannot go for that. There's a reason why there's a huge fan base that didn't go for it here. It's the lowest common denominator script with the worst leading man out of all of us. Jay and Silent Bob is a fun reboot of characters we've seen, and again, if you're just looking for a little fun road trip movie, it does that here, but it is not the best ensemble, the best acted, best ensemble, funniest script here, the one that's able to nail it all, and has the best original characters too here. Unlike I think the rest of these, because it's also the best acted movie that we've seen out of these four here. You have people that are in their prime here. Affleck knew he could do this role here. Damon perfectly cast as Loki. I wonder if they do a spinoff. You've got even Linda Fiorentino, whether you like her backstage, she nailed this as Bethany here. I just think mine here brings the best original characters here in the best script of these four, in the best shot of the movie, in the biggest scope of all four of these movies here, and nails it on the head. Zing zang Zidane.
All right, we're gonna bounce over to Will. Your final up to 90 seconds whenever you begin.
You can talk about box office figures, you can talk about critical responses, but you also have to look at legacy. Mallrats has an absolute legacy within the View Askew universe for a very simple reason. You want to talk about great cast? Ben Affleck, Joey Lauren Adams, Jason Lee. Guess where they all got their start in the View Askew universe? In Mallrats. These are great actors that they kept on using over and over again. Oh, no one brings this up. Oh, except in Dogma, where there's actually a line talking about Mallrats, and they actually bring in the characters from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. They actually bring in Brody. So it would actually make sense that Kevin Smith is bringing up Mallrats, and therefore the audience is now going to be thinking about Mallrats when they see these movies. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a decent ensemble, but you have to see all these other films to even appreciate it. Dogma is a long film. It's a little overrated if we're being completely honest, because upon further viewings, you can tell that some characters just didn't want to be there. There's scenes where Jason Mewes is completely sleeping throughout the entire film. So great, wonderful. But with Mallrats, you can tell everyone's having fun. Everyone's putting in their all. Everyone is there to make the audience laugh, to make the audience feel when the romance happens and when the dramatic moments happen. And it's just the best film. Clerks may have got Kevin Smith to walk. Mallrats got him to run.
Run, strike it from the record. Jay, up to 90 seconds whenever you begin. I threw that one in for there, Jay. That's Jay's favorite bit. Sorry, I had to.
All right, where to start? There's a lot of heart in Clerks, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot of heart in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. You say what you want to say about who he casts as who he casts, but the fact of the matter is that he cast big name actors to come through and actually perform in a movie that nobody thought would actually be able to succeed, and he did that. Jason Biggs, Ben Affleck, you say Gus Van Sant, you can say everybody from Scream 3. Everybody in this movie does nothing but put forth their all. And I'm not looking for lemon face, lion face. But what I'm saying is this is the best movie in the View Askew universe because it literally allows them to create an entire world. It does more world building than Dogma does because Dogma is built around the dogmatic laws of the Catholic Church. What Jay and Silent Bob does is it allows people to expand on the lore, Tato lore, but it allows people to expand on the lore of the universe and allows Jay and Silent Bob to become better and more fleshed out characters. And if that wasn't the case, they wouldn't continue, and Kevin Smith wouldn't continue to add these people to these movies. There's a reason why Jay and Silent Bob are the individuals who continuously face this franchise. And it's not necessarily because Kevin Smith is the face of Silent Bob. It's because they're the ones that everybody connects with. And it's the reason why it's the best movie, because it's the one that allows them the most range.
Time. All right. We are going to go into the final countdown, or whatever the phrase is. We're start with Papa. Papa, what's your scorecard looking like?
So first off, I just want to say You're starting to turn into Jordan Anderson. Keeping me on a stream for 2.5 hours is giving me some tournament fights.
Literally the first 30 minutes was rough, and then the rest of it is just because these guys are just yelling at each other. Anyway, go.
That being said,
that's extra 30 seconds.
there is no argument. Tato said it. Clerks is in his top 3, so Tato has to win. False. Just kidding. Tato I have in last with 7 points. Will I have next with 8. And then I was going back and forth between JPO and Jay. I gave it to JPO with 10. Jay with 9.
Okay. Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say a lot of this. We're kind of closing this up. I actually have 2 ties. I don't have everybody ranked. I have both Tato and Will at 7. I think that Tato was really pitching hard why Clerks is the most important film, but not so much as to why it was, the best film. I think, I mean, he said some good things about his film, but especially when he lost some points for me when he started hounding on the financial aspect of it. Because if financial aspect considers what's best, then Kevin Smith's best film, even though it's not Askew, is Cop Out. So, and we all know that's not true. So, well, despite what Henry says, he's an idiot. So it's like you can't consider box office, and once you start preaching that, you kind of lose some points for me for that there. So for the tie for the first place, I have Jay and JPO. I think they both did a good job pitching. Just they actually went more into the individual, the dialogue and the scenes and things that were actually funny about it. I think that Jay maybe takes a little edge because his talked about not only being a culmination of an ensemble, but also an ensemble of the characters, kind of a culmination of the characters throughout that kind of come together in this. And I also just want to add that lots of people are talking about Heart and why that makes something the best of View Askew movie. Heart is the worst thing in every one of those View Askew movies. Kevin Smith can't do Heart without making it melodramatic and really saccharine and awful. So,
Brian, he had a heart attack. Leave him alone. He doesn't have a heart. What were your actual numbers so I could, just for the points?
I have Jay and JPO both had 9.
Okay.
Tato and Will both have 7.
Okay. All right, we're going over to me. Whew. Luckily, he's in the background because I don't have to have him yelling at me. Jay was easily at the bottom for me. I just got nothing from his film. He literally was just saying things of, I have all these actors in it and all this stuff, but I didn't get anything from like the actual film. Like if I'd never seen Jay and Silent Strike Back, I wouldn't know anything about that movie other than Ben Affleck and Gus Van Sant are in that movie. I literally got nothing from that movie. Tato, unfortunately, despite it being my favorite, and I gave him a 5. Tato, unfortunately, Clerks is my favorite movie from the View Askew, but similar to what Jay said, he didn't really give me anything from the movie. If I had never seen Clerks, I wouldn't have gotten anything from that movie. So I gave him a 6. So now I'm between Will and JPO, and this one's tough. Will and JPO did a fantastic job of just knocking. So with this one, my approach was I did both pros and cons because I wanted to get the opinions because this is the best movie. So I felt like there was a lot of pros and cons that people would go at with this one more easily than the wider range questions from earlier. And Will and JPO did a fantastic job both knocking other films. JPO knocking Clerks with the bad acting, the bad visuals and all that stuff. Will knocking JPO stuff of just the church stuff and all them things, and then Tato's he counteract that with the money. I just got a lot more from Will on why his movie is just the best movie of what he was able to really go from there. So I gave him an 8 and JPO a 7. So let me tally up these scores real quick. Okay. It's going to be interesting. I think I was the most different than everyone on that one.
I was going to say Brian and I were almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why I love the scorecards of this, because if we just said the names, we wouldn't have really got the range of how we feel about it. So obviously it's different, but I really like it. Okay. And obviously this stuff like this will be in editing.
But just leave it in. It'll be funny.
That's what she said.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's been a long time since she said that. So did she really say it?
No. All right. All right, this is gonna be interesting. All right, so with a easily at the bottom, we have Tato. Unfortunately, with a 6.67, he just wasn't able to sell us enough why Clerks is the best. Luckily, we have an easy first place because we actually have a two-way tie for a second, but it doesn't matter because there's a first place is easily at first. And your winner of not only this question but the entire match of View Askew with a 8.7 versus the tie that was 7.7. Jordan Pierce Owens, and your winner. Holy cow, Dogma got the win on that final question. So
and I like chasing Amy better.
2-1-1, and I thought that you technically didn't win that one, but yeah, you sold the other judges. So real quick, we're going long on this one because it is the beta. Shout out the private chat. It's the beta, but overall, what were your thoughts on just how the process went for this entire time, and do you feel like you deserve the right to be king of the View Askew?
Hell yeah! No, I'm not gonna be that guy. No, I mean, the good debates by everyone here, man. I mean, even that that from that first question on that I had, I wasn't certain that I had that by any means. So even this last one too, I was holding up that notebook just in case. But I'm not good with math, so I was holding up. I definitely could have not had it too. No, I had a lot of fun here. Obviously, much love for Kevin Smith. It's always, like I said from the get-go, it was hard to say mean things. You know what I mean? So I like try to walk that line because I do love pretty much everyone's choices, pretty much every round here. So I was happy to pick up the W. As far as the format, might have been long, but again, it was the beta, as you said here. So, we'll discuss a little bit off air, but it was a lot of fun here. And kudos to my opponents.
Yeah, I feel like the length
look at the score. Everyone did good.
Exactly. I feel like the length doesn't matter as much when it's a specialty one like this, where literally everyone is invested in all the questions. The judges obviously not as much, and the fans not as much, but the debaters, hey, sometimes.
I am your Kevin Smith champion. Thank you.
All right, so next we'll actually talk to the person that I felt had the best comeback, Will. Obviously it's tied for second place, so I'm just going based on my points on this one. Will, you started off dog water, and then you finished really strong. How do you feel about your performance tonight, and what do you feel about just generally how tonight went?
So I kind of feel like I, for lack of a better term, did the assignment here because I feel like I did the least amount of prep work for this because I was told this was a no prep match. So I kind of went in just with the basic of basic arguments and just pulling miracles out of my ass.
Just pull cocknacks out of your ass.
I mean, it's the reason why I'm sitting on an orthopedic donut. But in reality, this was just when you told me that what was going on, I just thought, this is going to be a lot of fun. I love all these people that I was debating against. There's nothing I can say bad about my opponents, but you're right. This came down to the wire, and if you would have told me like after round one that I would have been, tied for second, coming out of that, I would have told you you're full of shit and you need to stop drinking. But here I am. Maybe I don't suck at debate after all.
I think you're solid, and that's why I invited you, especially for View Askew specifically. And tied for last place. No, I'm just kidding. Tied for next, Jay. The most animated in the bottom. Unfortunately, not everyone could see it. Hopefully you could hear me after you smashed your headphones about 20 seconds ago. How you feel, bud?
Bullshit, because it seems like everybody only wants to remember everything it is that they thought they heard but didn't actually hear all of the arguments. No, this is the issue that I have with every fucking debate. No, I had a great time. I still feel like I won more than one of these, especially over fucking JPO, because that man's ducked me in fucking Halo for the last goddamn 16 weeks. Tato, it's fine. Will had bad choices all the fuck around. It doesn't matter. No, I had a blast. Obviously, I get animated when it comes to everything it is that I do. Especially when it comes to debate, because nobody likes to admit that they're I'm not even gonna say the word because I wasn't. It was just when it came down to the judges, there was at least one judge here who was fair and balanced the entire time. TM, and it's fucking Papa West. So shout out to Pop. No, I'm kidding. No, everybody did great. Everybody did great. This was a lot of fun.
There you go. And last but not least, the person that loves View Askew the most, but didn't prove it tonight, Tato. How do you feel about how it went?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty fantastic. This was a good exercise for me in a less prep situation. Like I said, I didn't really do any prep either. I had a good time here. I'm surprised I got a point like on no prep because I know I need to do more prep to keep up with cats like you in debate. I'm not as quick on my feet as the rest of the community.
Yeah, Mr. Tato. Let me look at my notes and time.
Hey, it got me there. And I only took last place once, I believe, so that was good for me, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So no, we had a lot of fun, and you guys all, other than the one round where I'm like, you guys all just didn't do well. Everyone really scored high on you guys, so I'm really happy for that. So
well, no one actually wants to see New Holden and Banky.
Apparently not, and that's fair. Terrible question, Jay. You wrote it. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Good job, Tato. And with that said, my name's Henry Confidential. If you made this far in the video, you are invited to be in the Confidential crew because you're a real one. Obviously, in the edit, a little behind the scenes, we're at 2 hours and 36 count, and I swear to God, it's going to be close to under 2 hours. I promise you that. The editing is going to be chopped down. But anyway, my name's Henry Confidential. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, go and check out our other stuff on the channel. We have MTVs. We have the MTV tournament, not league based, but MTV tournament. We have other exhibition ones that Brian, Jay, Tato for Geeks going to write, as well as other guest people. Eric's been writing for me as well. We also do drafts over here. We haven't done Jeopardies in a while, but Jeopardies and other stuff. So that said, my name is Henry Confidential. This is the War Room. View Askew.